Hey VC, it's me Roger. Back with another video. A salty salute to you all. I'm enjoying a Dead Guy Ale from the Rogue Brewing Company, Portland, Oregon, I think. Yum. In the background, we're listening to this, Guided by Voices, B1000, their 1994 breakthrough. We'll talk about Guided by Voices. If you hang in there, I'm going to show you an OG vinyl. This video is sort of by request of John Kieffer. Hey John. He posted a comment on my blog saying that he was looking for some recommendations for early Guided by Voices Robert Pollard material. And I'm a huge fan. I have almost everything they've ever done. And I thought about doing a series of videos showing my collection. And anyway, John, your comment pushed me over the edge. I've been listening to this stuff all week, falling in love all over again. So yeah, I'm going to break this up into chunks, and yeah. So I think Robert Pollard is a genius. It's a word that gets thrown around a lot, but I think in his case it really does apply. And the story of Guided by Voices, and Guided by Voices is Robert Pollard. There have been some 50 people in and out of Guided by Voices over the years. But the story is, you know, this guy Robert Pollard, former jock, 4th grade teacher in Dayton, Ohio, of all places, gets together with his buddies on the weekends, tries to make a go of being a live band, but eventually, you know, borrows money from the credit union, this revolving loan, and makes these records that no one hears. No one in Dayton cares. His family doesn't care. His friends don't care, except his close-knit, these people. They make these records. Some of them they destroy in drunken fits. And then, just as he's about to just call it quits, he's discovered by an indie label, picked up, puts this out in 1994, and at the ripe old age of 36 years old, he goes from 4th grade teacher to indie rock star. But the music is brilliant, or it eventually becomes brilliant. Pollard talks about the 4 P's of rock: pop, psych, punk, and prog. Conspicuously missing is metal, but I think he's one of those guys that thinks Black Sabbath is a prog band. So yeah, I'm going to show you what I have. So those early records are really rare. Their first EP, Forever Since Breakfast, came out in 1986 on the I Wanna label, which was a local Dayton label. Some rival band had put out a record on I Wanna, and so they slapped the logo on it. Proprietor of the label didn't appreciate that very much. And you know, it's not great. And interesting for a band that gets lumped into the lo-fi thing. They went into a big studio in Kentucky and tried to, they've always tried to go for a big rock sound. Rarely achieved it. But so the production is, you know, somewhat slick but indifferent. Songwriting's not, the wordplay is there, but the structures are not that interesting. This has been reissued on vinyl in 2005. For some reason I didn't pick it up. Oh wait, the reason is it sucks. So yeah, they made 4 albums that no one ever heard. And then in 1995, it was collected in this box I remember when this came out in 1995. I remember seeing it at the record store and going, who the hell is GBV? And who do they think they are putting out a box of 6 records? It wasn't until a couple of years later that I got it. So, I'm going to quickly show what's in here. I wish they'd put these in nice cardboard sleeves, but they didn't. They're just paper sleeves. This is their first album, Devil Between My Toes, from 1987. They discovered this guy in Dayton, Steve Wilbur, who had an 8-track studio in his garage. He was a metalhead, didn't really get what Pollard was on about. But they made a bunch of records together. So again, they're going for a big sound, just not achieving it. And songs, again, yeah. Then later in 1987, they put out another one, Sandbox. And they're really going for a slick sound here. And failing. This song, Trap Soul Door, it's pretty cool. Yeah. You know, originals of these go for big bucks. This is Self-inflicted Aerial Nostalgia from 1989. And here, it's starting to sound like a mature Guided by Voices sound. And then 1990, Same Place to Fly Got Smashed, kind of a concept album about being a drunk. You know, again, there's some moments, but yeah. So, yeah. Everyone, his family, he's got kids, you know, he's supposed to be a responsible teacher. Everyone's saying, what the fuck are you doing? Knock it off, you're wasting money, no one cares, we hate it. He's like, fine, but I'm going to make one last record, and I'm going to call it quits. Which turned out to be Propeller. This is included in the LP version of the box set. It's not on the CD version of the set. This is great. Tobin Sprout, who had been in and out of the scene, and had his own band called Figure 4 for a while. He and his family had moved to Florida, and then they came back to Dayton and fell in with Pollard. Tobin Sprout had this little Tascam cassette 4-track and knew how to use it. And so for a while, Tobin Sprout became the perfect foil for Pollard. Not only could he, you know, capture decent sound, interesting sound with this 4-track machine, he was a great songwriter and multi-instrumentalist. They co-wrote songs. So while some songs here were recorded in a big studio, once Tobin Sprout hit the scene, he started adding, you know, these 4-track experiments and songs. And, you know, while the previous ones, nothing really sticks. You know, I've listened to those records a bunch of times, and it's not until Propeller, 1992, that the real Guided by Voices appears for the first time. Now, originals of these were pressed on plain jackets with plain blank labels, and the band and their friends drew on them and glued things to them. I think the first couple hundred are numbered. Very, very desirable record originals. One sold for as much as over $6,000, I think, on eBay. It's been reissued on vinyl by Scat again in 2005. I didn't get it because I had this. Yeah, so Propeller. And then the box also includes this, King Shit and the Golden Boys. This is more 4-track experience, 4-track experiments, and early versions of songs that would appear later. This was, in 1995, the first glimpse anyone got of the infamous Suitcase. A suitcase full of tapes of hundreds, thousands of unheard Robert Pollard songs. So yeah, that's Box. Glad to have it. Those first few records. Interesting to watch Pollard grow into the full-blown genius that he became. So, Propeller wound up in the hands of this guy, Robert Griffin, who ran a label called Scat in Cleveland. And he's like, who are these guys? And loved that record so much, called up Pollard on the phone and said, hey, let's put something out. Pollard's like, the band broke up. And then he paused and said, oh, I could put something together. According to Griffin, 7 days later, he gets a tape. Puts it out on the 7-inch EP, The Grand Hour, in 1993. 6 songs. Great. This is a second press from like 97, the yellow cover. If you're a fan, you might recognize some album titles, songs that don't wind up on the albums with that title. And they make their first album for Scat in 1993, Vampire on Titus. This is not an original, this is a second press, colored vinyl. I've shown it before, actually. This is lo-fi. If you're willing to submit to the murky sound quality, there's some awesome songs on here. The collaboration between Pollard and Sprout is in full bloom here. But whoa, it's rough going. So, the ripe old age of 36, Pollard goes from being a 4th grade teacher to, signed to an indie label. And in July of 1993, he's asked to perform at the New Music Seminar in New York City. Now, Guided by Voices, up to that point, while they played live early on, they bailed on that and became just a studio band. So he put together a group, went to New York, and blew everyone's mind because, those hipsters like Byron Coley and Thurston Moore and Beastie Boys people, used to this lo-fi shambolic thing. Live, it was this powerhouse rock show. Pollard swinging the microphone around like Roger Daltrey, and kicking his legs up, and bang, 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 knocking out all these high-powered rock songs that the records only hinted at the power that would happen live. So now Guided by Voices has all this attention, all these labels are coming at him saying, wanting to do 7 inches and EPs and compilation tracks, and I don't have a lot of that stuff. Some I wish I had OGs of, but so Static Airplane Jive. This originally came out on City Slang in Germany, 7-inch EP, 1993. This is basically a rip of the vinyl put out on CD by Record Head Luna in like 2005 or something like that. Great. This came out originally on Domino in the UK. Clown Prince of the Menthol Trailer. Again, I don't have an original. I'd love to have one, but I have a hard time spending 30, 40, 50 bucks on a 7-inch. I do have this. This is Get Out of My Stations. Came out in 94, but it was recorded in 93 on Slit Breeze. Again, just another killer slab, little EP. Early 94, this came out on Engine, Fast Japanese Spin Cycle. Great. This is one of my favorite EPs by anyone. So I'm going to stop here with Yes, OG B1000 in 1994. Scat had a distribution deal with Matador. And so this record actually wound up in record stores all over the place. And, well, it may not be my favorite record, but it's certainly their first masterpiece. This is on blue vinyl. I think there are some that are on black vinyl that are really rare, maybe 100 copies. There's also a red version of this. I don't even know what to say. The album had gone through many permutations. At the mastering stage, they were working on an early computer workstation. Pollard was way into that, dropping in little snippets of this and smashing songs up against each other. In 2004, Scat put out B1000, the director's cut. 3 LPs, contains virtually everything that was considered to go on B1000. And in many ways, I prefer this to the released album because it's just so magnificent. The outpouring of songs and the sounds, just great. Finally, later in the year, 1994, Scat put out Guided by Voices, I Am a Scientist EP, great collage by Pollard. Interestingly, this is not the version of I'm a Scientist that appears on B1000. This is a new recording, went into a studio in Dayton, recorded live, and it's the first taste people outside of those folks at the New Music Seminar in 1993's first taste of what a powerhouse live band Guided by Voices was. 3 B-sides are also excellent. You know, just another killer EP. So, I'm going to stop there, and we're going to pick up next time with the Matador years. Thanks for watching. Hope this is helpful to you, John. See you soon.